Let's pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and legislative assemblies for the welfare of the society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider our matters that come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and the welfare of our country and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. Good morning, honorable members. You're most welcome to the first sitting of today, and I would ask the clerk to start us off.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
May I at this point invite Honorable Dominic Ndambuki, the Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee, to come forward and lay some papers.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Dominic Ndambuki, Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 190, Suborder 5, I beg to lay the following paper on the floor of the House today, Wednesday, 21st February 2024, a report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the Intergovernmental Agreement on Establishment of County Aggregation and Industrial Parks. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Notices of motion. May I invite Honorable Dominic Ndambuki once again to come forward and give a notice of motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. That aware that the national government through the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, State Department of Industry and county governments in partnership with private sector, development partners and United Nations Industrial Development Organization has established county aggregation and industrial parks in each county, which will be developed and implemented jointly between the national government and county governments. Noting that Article 6, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution of Kenya provides that the governments at the national and county levels are distinct and interdependent and shall conduct their mutual relations on the basis of consultation and cooperation. Further, aware that Section 191, Subsection A3 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2012 provides that where a county government intends to enter into an agreement for the conditions allocations, the County Executive Committee member in charge of finance shall submit the agreement to the County Assembly for approval, and aware that pursuant to Section 191, Subsection A4 of the PFM Act of 2012, the Assembly shall within 14 days of the submission of an agreement approve or reject the agreement, acknowledging that the County Assembly is in receipt of a legal notice on intergovernmental agreement on the establishment of county aggregation and industrial parks between the national government through the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, State Department of Industry and the county government of Machakos. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give a notice of motion that this House discusses and approves the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on Intergovernmental Agreement on the establishment of county aggregation and industrial park. I wish to call upon Honorable, sorry.
Thank you, Honorable Ndambuki. Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Next order.
Order number 8, motion, approval of report on the Machakos County Budget Review and Outlook Paper 2023.
On this motion, may I invite Honorable Dominic Ndambuki, Chairperson Budget and Appropriation Committee, to come forward and take us through that motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, that aware that Section 118 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2012 requires that each county treasury prepares county budget review and outlook paper in respect of their county for each financial year. Aware that the CBROP presents the actual physical performance in the reporting period compared to the budget, updated economic and financial forecasts with sufficient information to show changes from the forecasts in the most recent county physical strategy paper. Information on how actual financial performance for the previous financial year may have affected compliance with the fiscal responsibility principles or the financial objectives in the latest CFSP, and the reasons for any deviation from the financial objectives together with the proposals to address the deviation and the time estimated to do so. Further, aware that the CBROP aims to provide a review of the fiscal performance of the fiscal year 2022-2023 and how the outcomes impacted the county's financial objectives and fiscal responsibility principles as envisaged in the PFM Act of 2012. Noting that the County Budget Review and Outlook Paper 2023 was submitted to the Assembly on 19th October 2023 and tabled in the House on 7th November 2023 and subsequently committed to the Budget and Appropriations Committee. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that this House discusses and approves the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the Machakos County Budget Review and Outlook Paper. I call upon Honorable Stephen Mwandi to second.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Stephen Mwandi. Thank you, DS. I now propose the question that this House discusses and approves the report of the Budget and Appropriation Committee on the Machakos County Budget Review and Outlook Paper 2023. Before I invite members to debate this motion, may I call upon the mover to come forward and give highlights of the report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to inform the House that the report has been uploaded onto the County Assembly's platform, social platform, and members can follow the report from there. Honorable Speaker, if you allow, I will give the abridged version of the report which summarizes the contents. Honorable Speaker, Section 118 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2012 requires that each county treasury prepares the county budget review and outlook paper.
Honorable Ndambuki, we need to agree on which areas are you going to touch on to take through. Which, you are on preamble, or where are you?
I was on preamble, Honorable Speaker.
You take us through the preamble then?
Then I go to the review of the physical performance.
Okay.
Then after that, we look at the physical performance,
Page.
which is about revenue performance. Revenue performance.
Revenue performance, it's on page.
Review of the physical performance is on page 6.
Page 6.
Revenue performance is on page 7.
Okay.
Then, Honorable Speaker, we look at our county own source revenue, which is again on page 7.
Okay.
We touch a bit on conditional grants, page 9. Expenditure performance, Honorable Speaker. And then we present before the House an analysis of the county entities' expenditure, page 10, Honorable Speaker. And we look at the resource allocation framework. Then we look at the committee's observations and recommendations.
That's in order. We can proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I repeat. Honorable Speaker, Section 118 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2012 requires that each county treasury prepares the county budget review and outlook paper in respect of their county for each financial year. CBROP presents actual physical performance in the reporting period compared to the budget. 2. Updated economic and financial forecasts with sufficient information to show changes from the forecasts in the most recent county fiscal strategy paper. Information on how actual financial performance for the previous financial year may have affected compliance with the fiscal responsibility principles or the financial objectives in the latest county fiscal strategy paper. 4. The reasons for any deviation from the financial objectives together with proposals to address the deviation and the time estimated to do so. Honorable Speaker, CBROP should be considered and approved by the County Executive Committee before it is submitted to the Assembly. Once approved by the County Executive Committee, the County Treasury should within 7 days and by 21st October of every year submit the paper to the Assembly and have it published and publicized. In this respect, the 2023 CBROP was submitted to the County Assembly on 19th October 2023 within the legal timeline and was thereafter committed to the Budget and Appropriations Committee. Honorable Speaker, the objectives of the CBROP is to give a review of the physical performance of fiscal year 2022-2023 and how the outcomes impacted the county's financial objective and fiscal responsibility principles as envisaged in the PFM Act of 2012 and County Fiscal Strategy Paper. It also relays the primary sector ceilings for the financial year 2024-2025 budget inclusive of indicative projections for the fiscal year 2025-2026 and 2026-2027 medium-term expenditure framework period. The ceilings will set off the budget preparation process for the next fiscal year. Honorable Speaker, we look at the review of the physical performance in financial year 2022-2023. Honorable Speaker, in the financial year 2022-2023, this Assembly approved a budget of 11.6 billion Kenya shillings to be financed through equitable share of 9.2 billion Kenya shillings, conditional grants of 0.6 billion Kenya shillings, hospital revenues of 0.1 billion Kenya shillings, own source revenue of 1.7 billion Kenya shillings, representing 79%, 5%, 1%, and 15% respectively. In the course of the budget implementation, the County Treasury revised the budget estimates to 12.5 billion Kenya shillings, comprising of equitable share of 9.9 billion Kenya shillings, conditional grants, 0.8 billion Kenya shillings, hospital revenues of 0.1 billion Kenya shillings, and own source revenue of 1.7 billion Kenya shillings. The increase in both equitable share and conditional grants was attributed to the balances carried forward from the previous financial year of 2021-2022. On the physical performance, we look at the revenue performance. During the year under review, the county realized a total revenue of 11.97 billion Kenya shillings against a target of 12.54 billion Kenya shillings, an increase of 11.9% from the previous financial year. Honorable Speaker, there is a table that follows that gives the physical outturn for the fiscal year 2022-2023, and I will request, with your permission, the House to look at it, and I will give the totals. Total revenue, fiscal year 2021-2022, 10,699,255,588 Kenya shillings. Printed estimates in 2022-2023, 11,596,315,959 Kenya shillings. Revised estimates on 2022-2023, 12,544,591,439 Kenya shillings. Actuals on 2022-2023, 11,969,212,702 Kenya shillings. Budget execution, 95%. On recurrent, total expenditure on recurrent, 8,700,451,133 Kenya shillings. That is on 2021-2022. 2022-2023, recurrent total expenditure, 8,088,468,725 Kenya shillings. Fiscal year 2022-2023, recurrent total expenditure, 8,778,234,893 Kenya shillings. Fiscal year 2022-2023, recurrent, 8,398,286,797 Kenya shillings. Budget execution, 96%. Development, financial year 2021-2022, 1,632,483,850 Kenya shillings. Printed estimates 2022-2023, 3,507,847,234 Kenya shillings. Revised estimates 2022-2023, development 3,766,356,546 Kenya shillings. Actuals for 2022-2023, 1,858,759,530 Kenya shillings. Budget execution, 60%. We look at the county on-source revenue. Honorable Speaker, the county government targeted to collect 1.69 billion at the beginning of the fiscal year 2022-2023, which was later revised to 1.72 billion Kenya shillings, and managed to collect 1.43 billion Kenya shillings, which translates to a performance of 83%. The collection of 1.43 billion Kenya shillings on all source revenue is inclusive of NHIF reimbursements of 120 million. The table 2 and 3 that follows, Honorable Speaker, depicts the amount of on-source revenue raised per month and a summary per quarter during the year under review and a comparison with previous years. The figure below illustrates the trend of the on-source revenue collection between fiscal years 2018, 2019, all the way to 2022, 2023. Honorable Speaker, I request the House to have a look at that table from the reports that they have. And if you allow, Honorable Speaker, I will go to conditional grants.
That's in order.
On conditional grants, Honorable Speaker, the county expected to receive 0.8 billion Kenya shillings, while actual receipts amounted to 0.46 billion Kenya shillings, representing a 58% performance. On expenditure performance, Honorable Speaker, analysis of the expenditure by economic classification shows that compensation of employees had the highest absorption rate of 44% of the total budget, followed by use of goods and services at 23%, and finally, acquisition of assets and non-financial assets at 15%, giving an overall absorption rate of 82%. This, Honorable Speaker, is given in the table below, and there is a table there that shows the expenditure performance by economic classification. Honorable Speaker, I will request the House to have a look at the table It gives a summation of the expenditure as given above in the total budget expenditure in the first table that I gave. Honorable Speaker, the committee is concerned by the low absorption of funds, especially under the capital development budget, and recommends that procurement processes under the same should be initiated in good time to ensure the projects are completed and paid for before the end of the financial year. On county entities expenditure analysis, Honorable Speaker, all the county government entities achieved an overall absorption rate of at least 65%, with the exception of trade, industrialization, and innovation. The highest rate of absorption of budgeted funds was recorded in the Department of Roads, Transport and Public Works at 95%, and the least in the Department of Trade, Industrialization and Innovation at 46%. The absorption of the development funds stood at 49%. The table that follows, Honorable Speaker, gives the detailed analysis of every county entity on respective recurrent and development expenditures. Honorable Speaker, I request the House to have a look at the table, and the total summations reflect what I had given earlier on in the first table as the totals on each financial year. On resource allocation, Honorable Speaker, the framework is given as follows. On implementation of fiscal year 2023-2024 budget, Honorable Speaker, the implementation of fiscal year 2023-2024 budget began well, with indicators in the first months pointing to meeting the end year target in regards to absorption of funds and improved strategies in revenue collection. The medium-term fiscal framework for the fiscal year 2024-2025 emphasizes on efficiency and effectiveness of public spending and improving revenue collection to stimulate and sustain economic activities. To finance the fiscal year 2023-2024, the county treasury projects its revenues at 14.7 billion Kenya shillings. This will comprise of equitable share of 9.5 billion Kenya shillings, conditional grants of 1.1 billion Kenya shillings, hospital revenues of 1 billion Kenya shillings, own source revenue of 3 billion Kenya shillings, and disposal of assets at 0.1 billion Kenya shillings, representing 65%, 7%, 7%, 20%, and 1% respectively of the total revenue. Honorable Speaker, the county's proposed resource envelope in the medium term is as presented in the table that follows. And Honorable Speaker, if you allow me, I will read through the table. Equitable share, fiscal year 2023-2024, 9,547,295,309 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues 2024-2025 on equitable share, 9,921,609,186 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for fiscal year 2025-2026, 10,403,201,823 Kenya shillings. On aggregated industrial parks program, on printed revenues for 2023-2024, 100 million Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2024-2025, 100 million Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026, 100 million Kenya shillings. Fertilizer subsidy program. Printed revenues for 2023-2024, 195,350,986 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2024-2025, 195,350,986 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026, 195,350,986 Kenya shillings. Court fines. Printed revenues 2023-2024, 14,436,324 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues 2024-2025, 14,436,324 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026, 14,436,324 Kenya shillings. Mineral royalties. Printed revenues 99,716 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2024-2025 99,716 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026 99,716 Kenya shillings. Universal Healthcare in Devolved System Program for Danida. Printed revenues for 2023-2024 14,148,750 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues 2024-2025 14,148,750 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026 14,148,750 Kenya shillings. Agricultural Sector Development Support Program under SIDA. Printed revenues 3,761,966 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2024-2025 3,761,966 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026 3,761,966 Kenya shillings. Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Project and the World Bank. Printed revenues for 2023-2024 90 million. Projected revenues for 2024-2025 90 million. Projected revenues for 2025-2026 90 million Kenya shillings. Aquaculture Business Development Program under IFAD. Printed revenues for 2023-2024 15,401,768 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2024-2025 15,401,768 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026 15,401,768 Kenya shillings. Financing locally led climate change action program FLOCA from World Bank. Printed revenues for 2023-2024 133 million Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2024-2025 133 million Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026 133 million Kenya shillings. Financing locally led climate change action program County Climate Institutional Support Program, again from which is called CCISP from World Bank. Printed revenues for 2023-2024 11 million. Projected revenues for 2024-2025 11 million. Projected revenues for 2025-2026 11 million. Livestock Value Chain Support Project from Poland. Printed revenues 2023-2024 35,809,200 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2024-2025 35,809,200 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues 2025-2026 35,809,200 Kenya shillings. National Agriculture Value Chain Development Project. Printed estimates for 2023-2024 250 million Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2024-2025 250 million Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026 250 million Kenya shillings. Hospital revenues. Printed estimates for 2023-2024 1 billion 8 million Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2024-2025 1 billion 108,800,000 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026 1 billion 219,680,000 Kenya shillings. Assets disposal. Printed revenues for 2023-2024 100 million Kenya shillings. Projected revenues 2024-2025 110 million Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026 121 million Kenya shillings. Leasing of medical equipment. Printed revenues fiscal year 2023-2024 124,723,404 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for fiscal year 2024-2025 124,723,404 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026 124,723,004 Kenya shillings. Emergency Locust Response Project. Printed estimates 105,095,561 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues on 2024-2025, 105,095,561 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026, 105,095,561 Kenya shillings. On source revenue, printed estimates 2,988,879,462 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for fiscal year 2024-2025, 3,148,823,435 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026, 3,306,264,607 Kenya shillings. Total for all the items, all the revenue streams that we have, Honorable Speaker, printed revenues for 2023-2024, total is 14,747,002,447 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues totals for 2024-2025, 15,382,060,297 Kenya shillings. Projected revenues for 2025-2026, 16,142,974,105 Kenya shillings. On committee's observations and recommendations. Honorable Speaker, the committee observes and recommends as follows. 1, that the County Treasury adheres to the budget calendar for fiscal year 2023-2024 budget making process. This will ensure that the process is within the set legal timelines and also give the committee or House ample time to scrutinize, analyze, and process each and every budget document. 2, that during the preparation of the budget estimates for fiscal year 2024-2025, the County Treasury should consider the matter of pending bills, ensure that they are adequately provided for, as well as settle the pending bills budgeted for in the current financial year. 3, that during the year under review, the county collected on-source revenue of 1.43 billion Kenya shillings against a target of 1.7 billion Kenya shillings. The committee observed that there was an underperformance and thus recommends to the county government as follows. A, ensure strict enforcement measures to minimize loss of revenue. B, strengthen internal controls. C, automate all the channels of revenue collection. D, frequently conduct rapid results initiative. E, set realistic or achievable revenue targets. F, expand the revenue streams. And G, implement the government property valuation role. 4, that the procurement process under the development budget should be initiated in good time to facilitate timely completion and payment of the projects. This will also aid in addressing the issue of pending bills, as projects will be executed and paid for in the financial year in which they were initially budgeted for, as well as increasing the absorption of the development budget. 5, that the county government puts in place measures to sensitize farmers on agricultural produce storage and prevention of post-harvest losses. 6, that the county government reduces the overall wage bill, which stands at 44% of the previous year's actual revenues against the set legal limit of 35% of the county government's total revenue, as stipulated in Section 107 of PFMA 2012 and Section 25, subsection B of PFM regulations of 2015. 7, that the performance of conditional grants was way below the target, and the committee recommends that the county government needs to establish the reasons behind the poor performance of the grants. 8, that all county governments, county departments achieved overall absorption rate of at least 65%, except the Department of Trade, Industrialization and Innovation. The committee recommends that the departments ensure that they utilize their budgets as allocated to ensure service delivery. 9, that the Office of the Controller of Budget did a review of the CBROP 2023 and provided a number of recommendations via a letter dated 31st November 2023, which is given as an extra, and the committee urges the county executive to consider the reviews in future. Honorable Speaker, the committee wishes to thank the office of the Speaker and that of the clerk for the support extended to the committee by facilitating it to fulfill its mandate. I wish to acknowledge the honorable members of the committee for their time as well as ideas in the meetings and in preparation of this report. Our sincere gratitude is extended to the county treasury for being part of this critical process of preparing and reviewing the 2023 CBROP. It is therefore my pleasant undertaking on behalf of the Budget and Appropriations Committee to table this report and recommend it to the House for adoption. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. I now invite members to debate this motion. Honorable Helen Ndeti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I stand to congratulate this committee of budget for a very lengthy report. But on the highlights, I just want to talk about the low absorption rate of the budget, the total budget. In the observations, the report just says that the absorption rate for the budget, total budget, was low. But we need to understand what caused this low absorption rate. And if I heard well, in the report, the chairman said that there was delays in procurement. So I think it's important that we try and understand what exactly that means, because if you don't absorb your budget,